Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, February 26th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. If you were driving past the Walpole Fish and Game this week, you may have noticed some people in the water. No, they were not in trouble. This was part of the fire department's ice water rescue training. The department recently received new rescue suits, so they were putting those to work during the training.
Ice water rescue today, just executing, getting a victim out of the water. We have new Mustang survival ice suits. They came in last summer, the first time we were actually able to train on them, just focusing on getting the victim out of the water as fast as possible and really getting the guys used to the new suits.
As with any profession, training is a crucial part of job development. McDonough explains that this is no different for the men and women of the fire department.
So everything that we do is really repetition. When you go over things a few times, it really helps you get used to it and kind of get all the kinks out. And especially this time of year, when you have possibly some water on top of the ice is really unstable. And when people think that it's safe to ice skate on or safe to go walk out on, it gets very dangerous when you have open water.
Thanks, Firefighter McDonough, for the update. Earlier this month, the town hosted its virtual special town meeting. The 25 articles covered topics such as land sales, CPA projects, and zoning bylaw amendments. 2 articles were voted by town meeting members to be sent back to the planning board for reconsideration. Brian Boudreau files the report.
Thanks, Kristen. February 8th marked night 2 of special town meeting, where a number of zoning articles were proposed. One proposal that was discussed at length was the rezoning of the Route 1 corridor, or Article 12. This would reclass a major section of Route 1, like right behind me. Town Economic Development Director Paul Helkiotis explains why this article was reconsidered for town meeting.
The article ended up being voted on to send back to the planning board to review some of the issues that were discussed. Those issues included notice to town meeting members about the zoning amendment. The State Zoning Act, Chapter 48, does not require written notice to property owners when their property is being rezoned. I know this sounds odd, but it is one of the odd things about the State Zoning Act. Some of town meeting members expressed concern that they should have been notified about the zoning amendment. The planning department had in fact held 3 public information sessions, had notified all of the town meeting members in October of a public information session that took place prior to the November town meeting that the articles were not taken up on. At that informational meeting, we only had 7 town meeting members attend. So we were disappointed. When this came back up for action at the February special town meeting, some town meeting members were caught off guard because they didn't realize that so many different properties were part of the rezoning. The Route 1 rezoning involves the biggest zoning amendment that the town's ever seen and the biggest zoning amendment that I've ever worked on. The 4-mile stretch along Route 1 has 2 sides, and so we are creating a new Boston Providence Highway zoning district that has on the back side, not fronting on Route 1, new areas that will be an area where there's a line between, in some cases, residential and commercial zones with this new Boston Providence Highway district. Those are the areas that we heard some concerns from town meeting members about setbacks between a residential district and a commercial district. That was the second item of concern that was identified during the meeting. The third was traffic concerns. Part of the Route 1 rezoning includes a proposal to create 3 separate mixed-use overlay districts. One would be at the Everett Street University Ave intersection. The second would be near the traffic circle on Manhattan Street. And the third would be the Vanderbilt area. Some town meeting members expressed concern over the number of new trips, the amount of traffic that could be generated if these 3 mixed-use overlay districts were to be built out. After hearing those concerns, this discussion led to what action town meeting members should take. And ultimately, they ended up voting to send these articles back to the planning board for further study.
Halkiotis also explained why Article 13, which covered open lot storage, was also sent back to the planning board for reconsideration.
The reason why that was sent back for review was because the only areas where open lot vehicle storage would be allowed would be in that new Boston Providence Highway District that would have been created from Article 12. Since Article 12 was not approved and that district did not get established, we could not have an article that directed open lot vehicle storage into that area that had yet to be approved. So that article was also sent back to the planning board for review.
To find more information on these articles and the reconsideration process, please watch the planning board meeting from February 22nd. You can find the meeting on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. For Norwood News, I'm Brian Boudreau.
Thanks, Brian. We will be right back after this. Welcome back. Tuesday was Norwood's 149th birthday, which means that next year the town will celebrate its 150th. The word you'll be hearing all year is sesquicentennial. There will be celebrations and events all year long. Selectman Tom Maloney provided us with an update on how you can get involved.
The sesquicentennial, all right? That's what it's going to be. And the steering committee for what we call Norwood 150 has been working hard for 7 months to prepare what I think is going to be a terrific menu or a terrific program of events, picnics and galas and lectures and walking tours on video to celebrate the town's history. We've got a couple of big things that we're going to plan. A gala, the 4th of July parade is going to be one. Norwood Day will be another one. We had a logo contest. The idea was came from our team leader of the publicity committee, Katie Neal Rizzo. This was designed by Jerry Kelleher, former selectman, and he won the contest, and he's helping to put it into different formats and aspect ratios for different uses. So we're working on that now too. We had an event a year ago. You might remember that at the public safety building, we had probably, I want to say 90 people. We had a sign-in sheet of a whole bunch of people. We have that sheet. We're sending out an email to people, say, look, tell us what you want to do. We've got committees like publicity committee, okay, team leaders Katie Neal Rizzo. Cultural committee, team leaders Kate Sibbing Dunn. History committee, Patty Fanning, okay. We have the Gold Dust twins, Mike Thornton and Jerry Miller, handling education and sports and fundraising. Okay, ecumenical committee, okay, for churches, and really, that's Veronica Truel, pastor of the First Baptist Church, will be the team leader on that. The first thing you can do if you want to get involved, we'll be sending out an email to all those who attended that meeting a year ago, but you can always email me at tmaloney@norwoodma, Norwood, Mass, norwoodma.gov. Tell us what you want to do. We'll get you over to the team leader for a subcommittee, but we want to hear from you.
One of the best things about Norwood is the wide variety of food establishments. The next stop on NCM's Project Takeout Tour is Oasis Caribbean Cuisine.
Ursi Raymond Olivier, owner of Oasis Caribbean Cuisine, located at 487 Washington Street, is from Haiti and found her home here in Norwood 21 years ago.
It's typically Haitian food. It's from the Caribbean.
Oasis Caribbean Cuisine opened in January of 2019, and Ursi loves the community of Norwood.
I moved to Norwood 21 years ago from Rosendale. All my children go up to Norwood. I live in Norwood. I had a catering service. When I was looking for a place for a restaurant, I said, why not in Norwood? Because I live here. It's been great, except for the pandemic. That's been bring us a little down, but we're doing okay right now.
Ursi has a wide variety of dishes available daily and weekly.
Everyone seems to like everything. So the fish, I was gonna do the fish once a week, but the fish is so demanding, so we do it every day. Fried fish, fried red snapper.
Oasis's door is always open, and Ursi hopes that you'll feel right at home when you walk in.
I want them, they're welcome. Everybody come. I have nothing to say about our customers. They love to come here. Some of them tell me I have great reviews on Facebook, which I don't have time to go look at it.
To learn more about Oasis, please visit their website or follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
The NCM staff recently went down to try out the delicious food at Oasis, and they said it was out of this world. Tune into Norwood News next week when we visit Norwood Spice. Now we will toss it over to NHS Student of the Month and school news reporter Juliana O'Neill to find out what is happening around the school district this week.
Thanks, Ms. McDonald. I appreciate it. And also joining me this month is Liam Wilson. Congratulations, Liam. Now let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. The NHS Update crew competed in the Student Television Network Virtual Convention and received 2 team awards in the morning show and podcast categories. I was one of the students on the morning show, and it was a great experience. We came up on a Saturday over vacation, and we spent 8 hours filming and completing a morning news show in that time. It was a lot of fun, and I had a great experience. At the Coakley Middle School, students in Miss Siegel's 6th grade English class are studying folktales. The students chose a folktale from either their own culture or just one that they enjoyed reading. The first step was to read it, then they filled in some notes on it on a Google Doc, then they took the notes and created a Google Slides presentation. The final step was to present their project to the class. A great way to combine reading a book and technology. Great job, CMS. At the Balch School, students in Miss Norton's 2nd grade class made Zen gardens for Mrs. Ferreira and Miss Katie's for Valentine's Day. The students explained that when we are feeling stressed or anxious, we should slowly make designs with our sporks in the salt ground of the garden. What a thoughtful surprise. Norwood schools have become a unified school district which prioritizes inclusivity and physical activity for all students. Trisha Felino, a paraprofessional at the Balch, set up hurdles and put out jump ropes for the theme of Jump into January last month. Students were curious to try them and then encouraging to each other as they attempted the hurdles and jumped rope. Principal Diane Ferreira said it was awesome to see kids who don't always play together doing so each day at recess. It was all about reading our hearts out at the Cleveland School recently. The PTO's week-long initiative focused on increasing reading enjoyment and stamina. 1/3 of the classrooms had at least 90% student participation. As a school, students tallied over 15,000 reading minutes at home. March Madness has taken over the Prescott School. 3rd grade teacher Maureen Condon has kicked off another exciting March Madness book tournament for hybrid students this week. In this program, teachers and staff recorded themselves reading aloud one of the diverse texts selected that each classroom will listen to. 2 books will be compared, discussed, and the class will vote on which book they enjoyed better. The votes are tallied by Mrs. Condon, and the school then has an overall winner. This tournament provides students with a great opportunity to hear their familiar teachers dynamically read aloud a text, allows them to discuss these texts with their class, and see how their class votes compare to the outcome of the rest of the school. The Prescott will keep us updated on their winner.
Rat is red. Do you think you can do that? You ready? The rat is red. And.
At the Willett School, as the winter months are ending, hopefully the kindergarten students have begun taking all of the letters and letter sounds they have begun turning into decodable words that they can spell, and they also use their sight words they have learned to write sentences. Yes, dictation is still part of sound pedagogical instruction. Using their foundation skills, students practice writing full sentences. This work helps them to become emerging writers and soon full-fledged authors of their own stories. Parents at home, be sure to practice your decodable words that your child can spell. These are CVC words, which stands for consonant, vowel, usually a short vowel, and consonant. These video clips are a great look into the kindergarten learning process right as it happens.
I see the big dog. Do you think you can do it?
And finally, students enrolled in extended day during February break enjoyed a rich and fulfilling vacation. Children from all 6 elementary schools attended for a week of science, art, and athletic enrichment. The week was replete with fun chemistry experiments, indoor relay races, and obstacle courses. Students played socially safe games and enjoyed extra time outdoors. Their teachers could also be found caught up in the action, running through the obstacle courses themselves, or trying their hand at shimmering slime and gummy gardens. Extended Day will host Vacation Week in April with another set of themed days. If you're interested in sending your child, please contact their office at 781-551-3480, extension 2. Sign up for April Vacation Week goes out to parents in mid-March. Well, that's it for the school news. There's something interesting happening in our classrooms and schools every day, and thanks to all the educators who share their news with us. Now let's go to Brian Dunn for the latest sports news.
Hello everybody and welcome into the sports update for this week. My name is Brian Dunn and it's sort of hard to believe at this point that the winter season has already come and gone and fall 2 is already underway. But while we have the time, and if you've been away from the channel for a while, allow me to recap this winter season along with some TVL All-Star voting results. We start with girls hoops, who are going into this season was coming off a great run, just 1 game shy of a sectional final. The Mustangs had a strong 8-2 showing and showed once again they are still a powerhouse program in the TVL, led by seniors Sydney Wadicus, Taylor Brinklow, and Kate Earl. Megan Olbrees, Erin Reen, and Trisha Wachowski earned TVL All-Star status, and Megan Olbrees even took home TVL MVP award, adding another notch to a Hall of Fame caliber career here at NHS. Boys basketball saw a major jump in improvement from last season. A game away from tournament contention last year flips into an incredibly strong 9-2 record. A strong senior class proved resilient and fought hard for every W. Captains Cam McDonough and Damari Daniels took home TVL All-Star recognitions, and Noah Badette, with arguably one of the best individual efforts this season, lands TVL All-Star honors. Joey Steves also grabs honorable mention. Girls hockey in the inaugural Skating Club of Boston ran into some tough competition along the way, but ultimately strung together a couple solid efforts to finish the season 4-5-2. Sally's girls, as they're coined, will be missed by a senior class led by captains Maeve Glavin and Kate Rogers, who paved the way for a bright future for the program. Maeve Glavin and Marissa Cataldo were garnered TVL All-Stars, and Kaylee Reed was an honorable mention for the girls hockey team. Boys hockey under head coach Chuck Allen turned adversity into opportunity, as a senior class of 11 talented young men propelled this Mustang squad to an 8-3 finish, including a resounding 9-2 win over Ashland on senior night. It was an unforgettable season and debut at the Skating Club of Boston for the boys hockey team. Congratulations on a job well done. The gymnastics squad introduced some new faces and unfortunately said goodbye to some extremely talented competitors. 6 seniors who left their mark on the program will leave it better than they found it. Elizabeth Broderick, Jillian Olbrees, and Rose Donovan captained a squad who faced tall orders head-on, finishing the season 3-2 overall. No doubt there are big shoes to fill in such a promising young team. And we end our season recap with the Mustang swim and dive team, one who arguably faced the most obstacles this year as they knew their opponent only through a score sheet, never seeing them in person, and swimming by yourself not knowing afterward if you are actually the victor. Nevertheless, the show went on and the Mustangs showcased some excellent individual talents and team efforts. 7 individual swimmers took home All-Star recognitions. Victor Green, Jake Wilkinson, and Michael Flynn for the boys, and Meg Sopel, Maddie O'Keefe, Michaela Hurley, and Lizzie Cardini for the girls. Congratulations to both boys and girls swim and dive teams. So, all in all, what an incredible season. Thank you to all the athletes, and special thank you to all of our volunteers and NCM crew who made our broadcasting schedule possible. I want to give a special shout out to Michael O'Donnell, who's been one of NCM's hardest workers throughout this entire winter season. Thank you, Michael. And as the new TV All-Star reports come out next week, we will deliver those. But for now, let's put that winter season to bed and take you outside to the football field, because when's the last time you saw snowplows in a football field at Norwood High School? Well, the football squad and all squads are now in game time mode as tryouts have begun for the Fall 2 season. We'll check in with the coaches next week to get their thoughts on the start of Fall 2. But before I leave you this week, I just want to remind you all again of Little League Baseball registration. It has been open, but it will only be open until March 1st. That is the deadline to get your registration in. If you have not done so and are looking to do so, please visit NorwoodLL, that's 2Ls.com, and click the registration banner. And that's going to do it for my sports update for this week. Thanks for watching. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Brian. In government, the Finance Commission met Monday night and began their meeting with Pete Frazier and Lisa Driscoll presenting about the Hilltop Security and S&P Global ratings. Following the presentation, the Commission discussed the FY22 budget timeline and voted to have virtual FY22 budget hearings. Tony Mazzucco presented on the revolving accounts as well as the performance summary. The next Finance Commission meeting will be in the coming weeks. Also Monday night, the Planning Board met with one item on the agenda to discuss the February 8th special town meeting and the zoning bylaw amendments that were voted for reconsideration. Town planner Paul Halkiotis talked in length about what caused this vote. The next Planning Board meeting will be on March 8th. At the Board of Selectmen meeting Tuesday night, Mark Ryan provided his monthly department update. Kevin Shaughnessy, Daryl Hanson, and Dan Morrissey provided an update on the light department. The selectmen spent a good portion of their meeting discussing the newly approved Morse House study. The study was approved for $50,000 by town meeting.
I agree. I look at the Historical Commission. They're the ones that put forward the project. They're essentially the customer in the sense, but they're not the ones that would oversee what it takes for us to complete whatever it is town meeting approved. So I guess I would say to Matt as well that first of all, I'm thankful that the Historical Commission did actually submit this for approval, and I'm glad town meeting saw it as well as this board that also recommended approval. But once the money is authorized, to me, as the responsible board for all the town buildings, is that we need to have a say in it. I want them to be involved as well because they're the ones that initiated, but I don't look at them as the board that has the full understanding of what such a study would be required and what it should encompass.
The selectmen will meet again on March 9th. Also Tuesday night, the Cable Commission met for a brief meeting. The commission discussed the new complaint number that residents can use. The complaint number is 781-384-9238, extension 6075. As we're sure there are a lot of compliments as well, we will release that number the next time. The next Cable Commission meeting will be April 20th. The school committee met for a few hours Wednesday evening. The committee's first guests were representatives from Compass and AI3 to discuss the timeline of the middle school building project, with hopes to present a more concrete direction to the committee during the March 10th meeting. Segal Reese joined to provide her COVID-19 case update, the good news being that they have seen a steady decrease in cases the past couple of weeks. Awesome. In alignment with Dr. Thompson's superintendent's report, the big news coming from the CDC was the recent change in procedures and standards that would allow schools to offer more in-person learning.
So the big news was that the CDC came out with some guidance for schools. I took a couple quotes out from the guidance that was issued, and I know a lot of you have read through it also. Just hit on some topics. Evidence suggests that K-12 schools that follow the mitigation strategies can open for in-person learning. And want to stress that's what we're already doing. And they talk about the mitigation strategies that we're all doing already, make sure everybody's wearing masks, physical distancing, hand washing, the cleaning protocols, and the contact tracing, all things that the school department is doing and doing very well. And we've talked about a lot here, and that's why we think we haven't seen spread in the schools, and we haven't seen we haven't seen outbreaks in the schools, we haven't seen spread, and we haven't seen a large amount of cases in the schools because of all those mitigation strategies.
The CDC guidance is based on a color-coded transmission system where Norwood is likely to fall into the blue or yellow category based on the recent trend of case counts.
So if you look at this metal piece, this yellow piece, moderate yellow, not metal, the K-12 schools remain open for full in-person instruction, physical distancing of 6 feet or more to the greatest extent possible. So this is where it comes in. And when we were orange, we talked about elementary schools in a hybrid learning model or reduced attendance. Physical distancing of 6 feet or more is required. So when you're in yellow, it's 6 feet or more to the greatest extent possible. When you're orange, which we were before, it was required according to the CDC. And you can get against the middle and high schools, again, physical distance of six. So we're now getting into this yellow yellow and possibly blue piece. Right now, as the numbers are going down, and it's where whatever is, whenever possible.
The rough timeline for parents would be to expect a survey to come out somewhere in mid-March, with a phased opening approach starting in April. The meeting concluded with discussion on the FY22 budget, in which the committee is targeting a 3.5% increase from last year's total. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news. welcome back. On Thursday, there was a Mardi Gras parade in the hallways of the Savage Center. The school administration staff surprised Kathy Sirica, who is retiring this week after 23 years of managing human resources for the school department. Hello! Oh my goodness. This is really Up to the job. Can I pop in and say hi? Yes. Look at you all. I love it. I love all right. You, everybody. You look great. And they let you out too, huh?
When I used to do recruiting, I always told the applicants, 3 things make a job: the job itself, the salary, and the people you work with. And if you don't have all 3, don't take the job. It's been great here. Thanks.
Happy retirement, Kathy!
Congratulations, Kathy, and the best of luck in your retirement. Just a reminder to residents that the Rec Department is offering a number of great programs during the month of March. Check out the Rec Department's Facebook page for updates on these programs and so much more. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.